Everybody needs desperately to be heard. And to hear is passive. It's receptive.
Mm-hmm. So I guess to just sort of put a bow on that and bring it back to the original question, ultimately what marriage offers everyone is the same, male or female, and that is that marriage is the circumstance in which someone returns to or reaches what is ultimately their most existentially complete state of being.
Which is a return. Otherwise, it wouldn't be possible. God creates the first human being, male and female, and then separates them. Why not create them separate and tell them to get married and become one? Because if they're created separate, they'll never become one. You can't go against your original nature. So being created as one makes that our original nature, and now we can get it back. We can be one again. And that's what we mean by soulmate. It's not a union of a man and a woman, because a union you can create between any two people, any two things. In plumbing, you have a union, a joint and a union and a male and a female, and there's nothing romantic about it. So
it's a reunion rather than a union.
The very definition of marriage is a reunion, both of body and soul. The bodies were once one, historically. The souls are one in every soul. Gets divided into male and female. Miraculously, they find each other somehow over the entire globe. They find each other and they reunite.
Right. On the same, I guess, topic of the value of marriage, one of the things that we know is it says that it's not good for man to be alone. Is the fact that, or the idea that's being communicated there, that it's not good for man to be alone, just a matter of what you talked about, that when one is alone, man, let's say being generic and applying equally to men and women, when one is alone, they are by definition not in their complete natural state? Or is there maybe part of that that's more pragmatic or functional?
That is another very central, fundamental quote that tells us so much about who we are and what we are. God creates for 6 days. On the first day, he said, let there be light. There was light. On the second day, he said, let the water separate. They separated. On the third day, he said, let the earth give forth vegetation. Gave forth vegetation. On the sixth day, when he creates Adam, the first being, human being, and God said, it is not good for man to be alone, so I will create him a helpmate. The obvious question is, you didn't have to say it, just do it. Every day you created whatever you want to create without saying, oh, it's dark in here, I need to create light. Why did he have to say it's not good for man to be alone, so I'll create a woman? It's almost like he had to justify creating a woman. He needed and also, why did he say it's not good for man to be alone? It's not good for a woman either. So as you say, it could be the generic man, meaning human, but on a deeper level, he was referring to himself. And he's telling Adam, now that there's someone to talk to, he says to Adam, you may be wondering why I'm creating anything at all, because it's not good to be alone. Even if you're perfect, even if you're infinite, even if you're all-powerful, almighty, and all-knowing, like I am, it's not good to be alone. Is that a pragmatic thing? Does he need help?
Well, I would say it's probably pragmatic, if we could say such a thing in terms of the creator's experience. It's pragmatic for his experience, that now his experience will be better. Let's say that he won't be alone.
In what way? He's already perfect. So the only thing lacking is intimacy. You can't be intimate alone, no matter how perfect you are. So what God was missing is someone, not something. Should you need something, you're not perfect. Needing someone, yeah, when you're perfect, then you really need someone to share it with. So needing someone is like beyond perfect. And that's why the statement is that it's not good to be alone. Not it's difficult, not painful. There's no goodness in being alone. So imagine a human being is perfect, needs nobody, needs nothing. What's good about that? We use the word good carelessly. Oh, yeah, very good to be independent. No, not good, just pragmatic. But there's nothing good about it. So God is saying the reason I'm creating is because, as perfect as I am, being just me is not acceptable. And now I'm going to give you that same instinct because you're created in my image, and you also will feel a need to have someone other than yourself in your life. So I'll create you a helpmate too. That is so romantic and yet indispensable. Romance is not optional. It is the very core of creation. God created because being alone, which he was, is not godly. So when we get married, we are imitating God by not wanting to be alone only because it's not good, not because it's hard.
Mm-hmm. So in terms of this, let's say, aspect of marriage that we're talking about, or a relationship, it's not so much that there's an imperfection that's being resolved. It's about the fact that everything that a person is now actually can be expressed and have a meaning when it's being shared with someone other than themselves.
Which leads us to another conclusion. If God doesn't need anything, but he does need someone. So let's say God needs me. What does he need from me? He doesn't need anything, so he doesn't need anything from me. So what does he need? Just to have me by his side so that he's not alone. That is the core and essence of intimacy. We spoke about this last time, I think. Intimacy means I don't need anything from you, and I'm not in love with any part of you. It's you. That's called intimate. Intimate means put all things aside and there's just us, with no thing coming between us. That is true intimacy. God doesn't need us for something. He just needs us. We're not a means to an end. And that's why marrying for love makes me a means to an end. If you want love and you marry me to get love, then it's not about me, it's about the love. I'm just a means. That's not a marriage.
The same would be true, I guess, even about loneliness. If someone's looking for a relationship because they feel lonely, if that's the entirety of what they're looking for or why they're looking for it, ultimately you're saying it's the same thing. They're looking to solve a problem and they're trying to find someone who's going to solve the problem for them.
Right. And that's a very insightful observation, because there's a difference between lonely and alone. Lonely means you're not perfect. You have a need in you to be satisfied. Not wanting to be alone means you have a need for something other than you, someone other than you. So if I marry because I want my wife in my life, if I don't have her, what am I missing? I'm not missing anything. She's missing in my life. It's really about her, not about some service or some favor or some assistance. It's her. In the same way that God wants us without condition. So it's not God wants me to keep Shabbos. No, God wants me, whether I'm keeping Shabbos or not. Afal pi shechata Yisrohu. It's just that because he wants me with him, not against him. So when he's keeping Shabbos and I'm not keeping Shabbos, it's a frustration because he wants me at his side. During the week he creates, during the week we create. We're with him side by side. On Shabbos he rests, we rest with him. He hates pork, we hate it with him. If you enjoyed this conversation or this topic and you're looking for more information, or you want to hear it again from another angle, there is a way to do that. And that is in this book. It's all there. Order it from Amazon. You can read it, reread it, and share it.